All right, so welcome to the first episode of our MMA cast with me and Sebastian. Adam is not here as he's not the biggest expert on the MMA game. Um, but yeah, me and Cbas are here, and we're gonna kind of break down the upcoming card this weekend. Diaz and Masvidal. Talk about kind of like all the crazy news that's happened in the past week or so. And then yeah, just kind of lay our predictions down, do some bets maybe, and then kind of discuss the rest of the UFC world. So yeah, welcome back. How's it going, Sebastian?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's a big
Awesome.
week in the sport, and I'm excited to see the main event. There's a lot of good fights, and I'm just glad last Friday didn't really ruin anything. Turned out it was a
Yeah, big old
big
mess.
old nothing. Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to see Diaz. I'm happy to see Masvidal, and yeah, let's get into that. Where do you want to start here?
So I guess we can start with the Nate stuff. So what was your initial reaction when you heard that?
Yeah, so I was studying for midterm, right? And then I just like checked my phone during a break, and then I see Ariel Helwani. He's like, oh yeah, like he's out. Or no, originally I saw like Diaz's tweet.
Yeah.
Uh, Surprisingly, he can still like read and spell, which is good. That's good. But yeah, like I understood what he was trying to say, and then like news started flowing in, and I'm like, well, typical,
Yeah.
typical our luck. Like we
Yeah.
can't have
Diaz
nice things.
fashion.
Yeah, we can't have nice things in this world. And I'm just thinking like who's gonna step in? Like I know Connor, like I think the day of, he's like, oh, I'm coming back soon. I want to fight the winner and stuff. But like I doubt that would even happen. But then a couple days later, everything got sorted out. They say like they're gonna proceed with it, and like everyone knows Nate's a clean guy. Even Masvidal said
Mhm.
he's a clean guy,
Oh yeah.
and like tainted meat, whatever. Who cares? Just let them fight and see what happens. But yeah, I'm glad it's on, and I'm glad the card's still moving forward. What about you?
Mhm. Yeah, I think like initially I was definitely taken by surprise because like Nate has definitely been outspoken on being a guy who's clean and healthy, and
Mhm.
that he's a guy that doesn't eat meat. So seeing his tweet, I was like, oh no way. I'm like this isn't happening again. Because everybody says about Nate Diaz fights, it's like, okay, you got to wait until he actually gets in the ring and
Yeah,
starts
exactly.
fighting because anything can happen at any time, and he can just like decide, fuck it, I don't want to, fight this this week for whatever reason. So his brother's been like that too. So either way, I kind of initially thought that he was definitely clean, and I was just kind of holding on hope. I'm like, please, USADA, just give me this, please. And luckily they pulled through because yeah, he is a healthy fighter, and you know I'm glad it worked out that way.
Yeah, like you brought up a good point. Like you never know with the Diaz brothers, and I remember when they booked this fight, I was thinking like, wow, that's pretty early because like anything can happen in 2 months or whatever it's been. But I'm glad that got sorted out, and I'm pretty sure Dana would have stepped in if he had to. Remember, like, was it last time or last year when John Jones he tested positive for something, and then they
Yeah, it
had
was
to
just
move
earlier
it.
this year.
Yeah, and they had to move it from like Vegas to LA or something to like some
Hmm.
like shitty arena. But they still did it, so I thought like they did something like that. But I'm glad it's still going, and we got a good card. It's a good week.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm very excited for the fights. Like even the prelims for this one are off the charts. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be awesome. So I guess we'll kind of just jump right into the predictions then. I think.
Do you want to start from like the main event, or like do you want to start from like the first card on or first fight on the
Yeah,
card?
I was gonna say the maybe start with Corey Anderson and Johnny Walker, who
Okay.
are they're kind of like the I guess the main event of the prelim.
Okay, fair enough.
So we can start with that, and then we'll hit the main card.
Okay.
So what do you think about Corey Anderson versus Johnny Walker?
I'm gonna buy into the hype for Johnny Walker. I know, was it last time he like separated his shoulder or something, but I don't believe that's gonna hold him back. I see this as like a first round KO. Honestly, like Corey's a
Hmm.
good fighter, but he has gotten knocked out. I think it was a Roundtree he got knocked out by or something. That
I
kick.
believe so when Roundtree was still at light heavyweight.
Yeah, so like Walker's, he's still pretty young. But I believe this is a big fight for him. Everyone knows it, and like everyone's excited for it. And I think for the UFC, it'd be good if he wins. I mean, him facing Jones, if he does win, that'd be a big fight. But we'll see what happens. But I believe Walker is just too much for Corey Anderson right now. What
Yeah,
about
I think Walker. Yeah, you're right. Like he's definitely got that hype behind him right now, which is
you?
important for his stock. Uh, yeah, I think he should have this one in the bag. He's looked so comfortable in every single fight
Yeah.
and so dominant that
Mhm.
he is kind of that light heavyweight prospect that is like the most on the rise.
Yeah.
So he's definitely somebody to watch out for. I don't think that even if he knocked Anderson out in the first round, I don't know if he would get the title shot next. But I mean, there is a very small handful of prospects left for Jones to go after. So I
Yeah.
mean, who knows? Like maybe Walker would be that guy. I don't know, but yeah, I think I'm with you on that one. He looks like he's going to be the winner there. I don't see Anderson being able to handle that power, and I'm pretty sure Walker is taller and has a longer reach as well. So
Yeah.
I think I don't really see Corey Anderson being able to do the things that he was able to do in his last couple fights against
Mhm.
opponents that I don't think have as much talent as Walker.
Exactly.
So I like that fight for a prelim because really that could be like a fight night main event, really.
Yeah, I can. I thought
So
like going into the next fight we're gonna talk about. I originally thought that Lee and Gillespie was the main event for the prelims, but I just looked just now and
mhm.
it's Walker Anderson. So that's how stacked this card is.
Yeah, they did a couple of like shuffling with the fights because I know that originally the co-main was Derek Lewis and uh, Blagov. Sorry, Blagov.
Ivanov or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, kind of butchered the name there, but
yeah.
yeah, that was originally the co-main event, and then yeah, they eventually moved Gastelum Till up there, which I like. So yeah, they've
That's
done some shuffling.
mhm, mhm.
But I
Well,
guess to lead into that, what do you think about Kevin Lee versus Gregor Gillespie?
this is another good fight. Both have a lot to prove. I mean, like Kevin Lee, he last lost to Dos Anjos.
Yeah,
And then I believe he's been training with GSP, no?
yeah, that's right. He's been at TriStar recently, so
Yeah. So like it's good for him. I know he was considering like maybe changing weights, but like no, he's fighting Gillespie. Gillespie, he's good on the ground. So is Kevin
yeah.
Lee. Um, this is a tough fight. I mean, I wanna say Lee has improved.
Mm.
Um, but I think Gillespie is just too much on the ground, and part of me wants Lee to win. I really do. Like I like him. He's a good fighter. He's had some couple tough losses this
Yeah,
year.
against
Uh,
some great opponents too.
yeah. And this is gonna be a good test for Gillespie too. I mean, I don't know who he fought last, but like he just mauled him. And I believe like if Gillespie does win, that really shoots him up the rankings. I'm gonna go decision Gillespie.
Yeah, that's probably a good call, and that's
Yeah.
that's sort of what I was leaning towards as
Yeah.
well. Because you know what, Kevin Lee hasn't done enough to impress me recently, even though it has been against some like game opponents. But with Gregor, I think it's another game opponent. He's been dominant every fight I've seen of
Yeah.
Gillespie. He's just been tossing guys around, really showcasing that grappling. And I don't know if Kevin Lee's striking is good enough that it makes me think that
Yeah.
he
Exactly.
he'll be able to handle what Gregor is going to bring on the ground. But we'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting fight. I also would have liked to see what Kevin Lee would have done at welterweight, but
Yeah.
he ultimately decided to stay at lightweight. So yeah, I think he's got a lot to prove, but this is a tough matchup for him, man.
Yeah. Because he fought Dos Anjos at 170, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, it would have been nice to see how he did there, but like Dos Anjos is a good fighter too, so we'll see. I like this will we'll talk about more about Kevin Lee later. There's a couple guys who we have to go over who we think have the most to prove. Uh, Especially Kevin Lee being one of them. But
hmm
I mean, I'm gonna go Gillespie. I'm same with you.
yeah, yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
and then also for Gillespie, like I said, if he wins this, he goes in the top five probably.
Yeah, yeah. This would be a big win for him.
And then
Bigger
I
name
like
opponent.
stylistically, I think he's probably one of the only guys who might give Khabib a run for his money. I don't. I think I like. I wouldn't bet money on him, but I'd say
Yeah.
like it's a good style fight for him.
Mhm.
So I'd like to see how that plays out too if he does win. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, you make an interesting point there. Khabib hasn't exactly fought a grappler who I think has the skill set that Gillespie
Hmm.
might, but
Hmm.
I think he still has a couple of fights for me to
Yeah,
for
for
me
sure.
sorry,
Yeah.
excuse me, for me to be like, yeah, Gillespie's that guy.
Yeah.
But we'll see, we'll see. He's definitely a hot prospect though right now.
Hmm. Hmm. So the next fight.
So the next fight is Derek Lewis, and this time I'll get it right. Is Blagoy Ivanov. Um, so this one's another interesting one. The Black Beast. He's an interesting fighter. He's the typical heavyweight, gasses out pretty early, but if he catches you with that one shot, then it's lights out. So there's always that risk, but Ivanov is definitely an interesting guy as well. His record is very nice. His stand up is very nice and fundamental and traditional. So it reminds me a little bit of Volkov and Lewis,
Yeah.
where it looks like Ivanov should be the guy with the better skill set, but Derek Lewis has that one, no, sorry, with that one punch power, and I think I want to lean towards Lewis. I would have a hard time. I have a hard time not picking Lewis in this fight
Yeah.
because, yeah, just because of that power, man. It's scary.
Yeah.
What do you think?
So far we're on the same page with every fight. I mean,
Yeah,
I feel like this will play out like the Volkov fight. Lewis he'll be down the first 2 rounds, but I feel like the power is there and it only takes one punch. I'm
yeah,
gonna go Lewis. And hey, I mean, last time he fought, no, 2 fights ago, he was here in New York.
right.
I think he'll have a better showing. I think he gets the knockout. I'll say late third round.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. I was thinking first personally. I
Okay,
think I think this time around, if it gets to the third round, Ivanov probably knows from watching the Volkov fight,
that's
watching
true.
that footage,
That's
that
true.
like you got to be very careful and you gotta like keep your guard high no matter if there's 10 seconds left or whether it's the first 10 seconds of the fight. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
Lewis. You saying the same thing?
Yeah, but I'm gonna say late third round.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So yeah, we're on the same page so far. That's good. We're not always on the same page.
Yep.
So Wonder Boy versus Luke. I like this fight.
I like this fight too.
Yeah, Luke always puts on some really good fights.
It's on a nice show. He puts on a nice.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So against Wonder Boy, that's a good one. It really that's this is probably one of the toughest ones for me to call for Saturday. So yeah, I think obviously Wonder Boy's kicks, his kickboxing is elite, but at times that can get him caught. And I think with a guy like Luke, who's got a lot of power in his hands, that risk is definitely there. But I think in his Thompson's last fight, he was dominating Pettis, and then
yeah,
he got caught with a very very nice Superman punch, excuse me. So I think Thompson will bounce back in this one. I think he's definitely training hard, coming off a loss like that when he was ready to kind of push himself back to the top of the welterweight division in terms of contendership.
hmm,
So I think I like Thompson in this one, and plus Luke came off a very very close split decision win, which a lot of people thought that he lost.
hmm.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Thompson on this one. I'm gonna say decision though.
I'm gonna say decision two for Thompson, but I feel like Luke is gonna make this interesting, but I feel like Thompson won't let him. I feel like Thompson he's gonna maybe be more conservative. Just I can see this being a technical fight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like Thompson he'll just do enough to just get a decision. I don't think it'll be like a fight we all want to see. I actually feel like this will be one of the more disappointing ones to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling like Thompson he's just gonna be conservative. He's gonna make it a technical fight, and then Luke he's just gonna be no match for Thompson at that point. I'm gonna go Thompson decision as well.
All right. Yeah, I feel you on that one
I
though.
hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm
Yeah,
wrong. I hope this is like the best fight of the night.
yeah. I hope Luque turns it into a brawl
Yeah,
because that would be awesome to see.
yeah.
I really like the way the matchmakers set these fights up where there's a lot of heavy hitters, as well as some good grapplers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I think this card really has it all, and Luque brings a very nice touch to it. I
Hmm.
think.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll see. It could be a very conservative kind of easy going win for Thompson, or Luque could turn into a really close battle. So yeah, I think it has some intrigue, but I'm a little surprised to hear you say that you think this might be one of the more boring ones.
I just got a feeling like every time, like with Thompson and Pettis, that was a good fight too. But I just feel like for some reason Thompson he's gonna be a little more conservative this time around. And what the fuck was that? He's gonna be a little more conservative this time around. I just keep hearing noises in the house. I don't know what's going
Sound like
on.
a dog breathing or something. I don't even know.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go Thompson decision.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that one for sure.
Okay. The co-main event this time. Co-main
Yeah,
event.
so this was probably the toughest one I'd say to call was Gastelum and Till because both guys are coming off some pretty big losses,
Hmm.
to two guys that are definitely warriors. So with Gastelum who showed so well against Izzy, better than Whitaker by a mile.
Oh yeah.
Um, I do like Kelvin in this fight, but I'm interested to see how Till does at middleweight because I feel like at his natural weight, um, you know, he might do a little bit better with his chin, but then again, he's facing guys that are a little bit heavier.
Yeah. I'll
But
go.
I still feel like with his size and his reach, um, he could kind of follow the same sort of game plan against Kelvin that Izzy did. Of course, he's not Adesanya at all, but he is. Man, he's an intriguing fighter, and I really do like his striking. And as much as that Masvidal knockout was a tough one for him in London, he was winning that fight
Yeah, he
like
was.
pretty handily.
Hmm.
So it's a tough one, man. It really is a tough one. But my pick is Kelvin. Um, Decision or knockout, I'm not sure. With Till's chin though, and the last couple fights, getting knocked out twice in a row was tough. But I'm gonna say Kelvin by decision. I'll say decision.
Okay. This is where we disagree this time. I feel like the whole weight change, it's gonna help Till, and I feel like you're gonna see a different fighter this time around. The past couple times he was really hurting his body, he's really hurting himself, just trying to cut down. And as you brought up, the whole chin, like it just didn't, it just didn't hold up the past two fights. But you did bring up a good point. Masvidal, or he was beating Masvidal. Woodley, he just, I mean, like for the Woodley fight, he didn't even throw a punch, I don't think. But
No, he landed two strikes, I think, the whole fight or something like that.
yeah, I mean, like you're gonna have to do a lot more if you're facing Gaslam. I feel like the chin holds up. I feel like his body reacts well to the fight, and I just feel like you're gonna see a different animal from him. Um, I don't know if he'll knock out Gaslam. I'm gonna go Till decision. I just feel like he'll have a good performance. Like you said, the striking's there, the reach advantage is there, and I think he's just gonna take advantage of that, take advantage of the whole 185 weight, and you're gonna see a new guy from him, I believe.
Yeah, no, I hear you because yeah, Till, I do really like the fact that he's moving up in weight.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of shown, especially
it's about
recently.
time. It's about time.
Yeah,
Like,
I think you've seen recently a lot in the UFC evidence of people cutting weight and then that severely affecting their performance, severely
yeah,
affecting their chin. I
hmm,
think one of the ones that stands out to me is Aspen Ladd when she
yeah,
cut down to bantamweight, women's bantamweight,
yeah,
and she got knocked out in 16 seconds after all
yeah.
that media kind of outburst about, sorry, not outburst, but the outcry from the media sort of about her stepping onto the scale and looking like she's about to literally pass out. Um,
That was against the Duranime.
yeah,
Duran.
yeah, the night that Faber returned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think I think it's a good thing for Till. So I'm interested to see that one. I'm not counting him out at all. I wouldn't be surprised if he won either. But I think, man, I like Kelvin's performance against Izzy so
Yeah,
much,
yeah. You put on a
and
good
he's
performance.
got so much power that it's hard for me to go against him in this one, I think.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Mhm.
I think this will be the best fight of the night, to be honest.
Yeah, it very well could be.
It's a shame it's only 3 rounds, but it might not need 3 rounds, so who knows? Like,
Yeah, that's right.
all right, all
I know
right.
it's
Main
another
event.
fight. Like so many of these ones could just be like main events on their own. But
Yeah.
I mean that's the beauty of a card like this, though.
Mhm. All right, main event time. This is it. We got Diaz versus Masvidal. A lot on the line. We got a special belt for them on the line too.
Yeah, I can't
Uh,
wait to see what that's gonna look like.
yeah, I'm curious to see if The Rock will present it. I heard The Rock's gonna come out and
Yeah,
present. So
I heard that too. So maybe it's happening.
I read today Trump might be there. So who knows? Who knows? Like I don't know. Yeah, this is a really interesting fight. It's a fight we all wanted, and I'm glad Dana finally came around and he just got the total. We need a championship fight for the main event every single time. That is not true. You have Diaz, you have Masvidal. Everyone wants them, and I'm glad he put it together despite everything that happened last week. I'm glad we're here. This, I'll say this. I don't think this is getting stopped. I really don't. I feel like this is gonna be 5 rounds of just a brawl. Um, you have Masvidal. You know, he was losing the Till fight, but he has come around. He obviously knocked out Askren. I would have liked to see how he performed against Askren without
Mhm.
that, but I'll give him credit for that. As for Diaz, Diaz looked tremendous against Pettis. Prior to that, he hasn't been anywhere near the UFC in but what 3 years it's been since then. But he looked like he didn't miss a beat. This is a tough fight. I have my pick here, but like every time I look at it, I just want to I want to change it. But
We
no,
got
I'm gonna go Diaz. I'm gonna go Diaz. I feel like look, like you Connor couldn't knock him out. Connor knocked him down what 3 times? He couldn't do it. And I don't Masvidal, he has the power. For sure he has the power, but I feel like Diaz is gonna keep coming. And I feel like if Diaz is the same to Masvidal, he's gonna keep coming too. But this is gonna be decision Diaz. I feel like his boxing is gonna be up there. You're gonna see a great performance from him, and also on the ground too. Like this could go on the ground, and I feel like Diaz has the advantage there too as well. Although Masvidal, he does have a solid ground game. Um, but the whole Pettis performance really opened my eyes to like how Diaz is actually one of the best fighters. And like he's always been an underrated one, but like for him to come back after 3 years and just to do that to Pettis, I can't go against that. I'm sorry, I can't go against that. What do you think?
I'm with you, man. I ended up picking Nate in this one.
Yeah,
It took me a long time to come
yeah.
around because I do really like George, and he, like we've talked about, he struggled a little bit against Till, especially in the opening minute.
Mhm.
Um, Nate is not going to come out that fast, so
No,
I feel like George is going to be able to settle into the fight, and you're definitely right. It's going to last a full 5 rounds. Diaz has never been knocked out. Masvidal, I believe, has never been knocked out. Might have been TKO'd earlier in his career.
might have, yeah, but
Yeah, but hasn't been knocked out. So it's going to go the full 5 rounds. It's going to be a war. But these are the kind of fights that I think Nate Diaz just thrives in.
yeah,
And you saw it against McGregor, even though that was 3 years ago now. But you saw it against Pettis too. Um, the way he just hounds guys and puts them in positions that they're uncomfortable, uses his reach, and
he doesn't get tired.
the way that he extends at the end of his like jabs and
Yeah,
stuff like that, and the amount of power that are still in like each punch, like I feel like that is gonna be shown. And man, I just like Nate really impressed me because you know how long like you and I have been watching the UFC for, and like when I started watching, Nate was still really young, coming off of tough, and he was really just more of a jujitsu guy. Like his
mhm.
striking just wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah,
But as he gets older and older, like he just looks better and better,
he
and
does look
he's
better.
one of
Yeah,
those guys that I think actually could really make a run for the belt if he wanted it, of course. But he just, man, he looks so good. I know his record isn't the most perfect thing out there, but he's the
I
kind
don't
of guy
think
you just,
Masvidal's is that good too. No,
it's not perfect either. They each
no
got
one cares about the record in this fight. No
yeah,
one cares.
nobody
Yeah,
cares about the record. It's all about them just completely going blow for blow
yeah.
and standing up there and just throwing shots, trying to see who the baddest motherfucker is. And I think that's Nate. I really think it is. I feel I don't even remember the last time Masvidal went a full 5 rounds. Um, but
Uh,
in decisions, he doesn't exactly do well over the full pace of
hmm
the fight.
hmm
So he's the king to split decisions.
Yeah.
Not that any of that matters, but I just think that this is the kind of matchup that I think Nate is going to do very well. And like you said, if it comes down to the grappling, Nate's jiu-jitsu is out of this world, and
Top notch. Yeah.
I think that he'll be able to handle Masvidal on the ground. And we haven't even mentioned the clinch, which is where Nate
Yeah.
really excels.
hmm
And I feel like he's going to be using that a lot, to close the distance. Well, he doesn't need to close the distance, but he really likes to get in there and dirty box. And
hmm
you're going to see a lot of that. And I really think that Nate's going to look great in this fight.
But
But
yeah,
it's going to be a war. I'm excited.
you brought up a good point too. Like Nate does have 5 round experience, with obviously Connor. Um, Masvidal did train for 5 rounds for Till. But I just think like the experience with Diaz and also his conditioning, like it seems as though as the fight goes on, he just gets better and better. And I feel like that's gonna be the big advantage as well.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean like that's for our picks. It's gonna be a great card. Um, Probably one of the best cards of the year, I'd say. Um,
Yeah, I think 244 and 245 are going to be kind of
yeah,
tossed.
245. Should we quickly go over 245 as well while we're transitioning to there? Or?
Um, yeah, we can jump into 245. But did you want to lay? Well, I guess if we're laying bets down, we've already made our picks, so we don't need to do anything more for that. So yeah, why don't we jump right into UFC 245?
All right. Well, if
See
you
kind
thought
of the news.
244 was good, 245 is just as good. There's 3 title
Crazy,
fights.
crazy,
We got Colby Covington versus Kamaru Usman. We've all
sir.
wanted that one, and I'm glad they finally got that down. I'm glad Covington, he got his fight. I'm curious to see how he does in a main event. He absolutely killed Waller. So like that was really impressive, and I'm pretty sure he threw like what the most significant punches
Yeah,
ever,
in UFC history.
and he's a wrestler. So
Yeah.
like good for him. Usman's no joke too. That's gonna be a good fight. We'll save our predictions for next month,
Hmm.
but that's on the card. We got Nunes versus I can't pronounce her name. Durandame.
Yeah, Jermaine Durand, Damie
Who
Damie.
really cares, honestly? Like we didn't even skip that fight. Like whatever.
Yeah, that's a Nunez dominance waiting to
Yeah,
happen.
I don't know who's gonna beat Nunes unless like they do Shevchenko again. But
Yeah, that's the only one I see beating her, but even her, I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. Uh, we got Holloway versus Volkanovski. That's a good fight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Holloway, he didn't look his best last time around against Edgar, but,
Poirier.
but yeah, well, but he
Oh,
did go
sorry,
up in
sorry,
weight.
my bad. Yeah,
He did go up in weight, and we'll give him some slack for that. But he didn't look his best against Edgar. I don't know if he was just like doing whatever, like being conservative in that fight, but he looked like something was holding him back. Volkanovski's a beast. He beat Otto fairly easily in Brazil, so that's gonna be a good fight too. And 2 more were announced this week or this past week. Uriah Faber and Peter Yan.
yep,
That's like pronounce his name.
yep.
I know you like Faber. I'll hand that fight off to you. How are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm excited about that one. I've always been a fan of the California kid, so even though he's the California old man now, I'm excited to watch him fight. And it was interesting hearing that one because Peter Yan is pretty scary. So that's a pretty big jump up for Faber. So they're giving him his opportunities right away, which is interesting. But he looked great in that short minute against Ricky Simon.
That was
So
yeah.
yeah, so that was a great moment. His first knockout in 12 years. So I'm really excited to see what Faber's gonna do. Um, but I added this onto the sheet before we started. But Faber said yesterday on Ariel Helwani that he has 6 fights left on his contract.
Yeah,
So
I read about that.
yeah,
If he wins this fight, there's a lot of options for him. I mean, he could fight for the belt. I know he wants to fight for the belt. He
mm,
could wait until Dillashaw comes back. That'll be for another year and a bit, but that's down the road.
mhm.
He'll be like 85 by then, but who cares? He'll probably still. He could fight another contender. There's a lot of options for him. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm curious to see how he does in this fight as well. Uh, and then we got one more. We got Aldo and Marlon Moraes. That is another good
Yeah,
fight. We got Aldo's
yeah, I
debut
love that one.
at some weight. Curious to see how Aldo does. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts on that fight?
Yeah, I'm definitely curious about the weight because Aldo has had problems making 145 before.
Hmm.
So 135, that's going to be interesting. So I've read a lot into it, and apparently he's on a new diet and everything. So he's walking around about 150, which is
Okay.
much lighter than he was
Yeah,
walking around, while he was champion and everything. So it's interesting, and it kind of it's a little bit scary for Faber, who we just talked about, because maybe he has to fight Aldo and get his leg kicked into oblivion again. So
we got a lot of throwback fights here potentially. We got Dominic Cruz if he comes back. We got
yeah,
Aldo. We got Faber. Who don't we have in this division now?
yeah, 135 is actually one of my favorite divisions. It's very exciting, man. And just the guys, Dillashaw is still out. Cejudo has the opportunity to come back up if he wants to. So it's quite a division.
Maybe maybe the winner of these fights might have to fight Shevchenko, and then the winner of that fight fights Cejudo. So who knows? Like
Yeah, who do you have in Triple C versus Shevchenko?
I don't like Shevchenko. She's scary, but I don't know. I'd have to probably go Cejudo. Honestly, like come on. Let's not play this game here.
Yeah,
This would never even happen. But like
no,
it's good just to troll around with Henry. He's a weird
he's weird.
guy with his metal and stuff. I don't really like him to be honest.
Me neither, to be honest. But he's here. He won a controversial decision to win the belt, and then now he's much
Yeah.
better. So
Yeah, I mean, the good for him. Like he proved us all wrong when he beat DJ.
mhm.
Then he knocked out Dillashaw in 30 seconds. Then he beat Moraes too as well. So good for him. He's on a good run, and
Mhm.
we'll see how he does next. Anyways, after that we got some. Well, how much time are we running on here? We're at 35
So
minutes.
yeah, we're at 32 currently in the
Okay.
recording.
Okay. Well,
So yeah, we'll try to keep it to like 40, but
okay.
we'll quickly talk about who you were just gonna mention there.
Who was I just gonna mention?
But no, sorry, I was trying to lead into your segment here with Connor.
Oh, with
Is
Connor.
that is
Okay.
that is that who you're talking about, or were you going with somebody else?
Well, you brought up something actually. We have to go over quickly. Who has the most approved this Saturday? Just pick one guy who you think has the most approved this Saturday.
Oh yes, yes. Sorry, we forgot to mention this, but Kevin Lee and I think Darren Till are
Yep.
probably my two picks for sure.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, like we kind of talked about in the fight previews. Kevin Lee and Till are both coming off of losses, and a couple losses in a row. So I think now is kind of the time, because once you get into that realm where you're losing 3 or 4 fights in a row, it's kind of not good for you in the UFC. Like
Yeah.
it's very hard to recover from that. So I think for me it's Till, because he's still kind of at that level where he has a chance to beat Kelvin and then just immediately put himself into the
Yeah.
middleweight contendership, whereas Kevin Lee still has some room to grow. But I feel like if Till gets knocked out again, it's not looking good for his future. He's
Hmm.
still young, given, but it reminds me a little bit of Cody Garbrandt,
Yeah.
um,
Like
where if he takes that third knockout in a row, like I feel like things are probably gonna change for him. So I'm gonna say Till.
yeah. I mean, like you brought up a good point too. If like I hope Darren Till does get knocked out. I really don't. Um, those are my two guys, but I'm gonna say Kevin Lee. because with Till, he's facing a much tougher opponent in Gaslam, and like if he loses a close decision to Gaslam, like okay, you know what, like okay, that's fine, like that's respectable. But if Lee loses, you know, if he loses in like the first, second round and he just looks terrible, then like he just went up to welterweight, that's not working out. He's coming back down, that's not working out. He's training with GSP, that's not working out. Like where does he go from here? So I feel like those are the two guys, but I'm gonna go Lee in this, and because he's in a much tougher spot. Like with Till, like right, he's going a new weight, he's facing a tougher opponent. Depends how he loses though.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, like I said, Till's third knockout in a row would be devastating. But
That
you're
is.
right. If it was like a close decision to Gastelum,
Mm-hmm,
then that's totally okay.
mm-hmm,
Um, but yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to see him at middleweight, and I'm intrigued to see if Kevin Lee can kind of, redeem himself back at lightweight
mm-hmm,
after a very short stint at welterweight. So
mm-hmm.
yeah, those guys are definitely the two that are on my radar for guys to watch here this Saturday.
All right, well, let's move on from that card, and let's spend the last final minutes talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Connor. He said last Thursday or Friday that he plans to come back January 18th, 2019 at the T-Mobile Arena. So, do you buy this, or what do you think about this? Like, do you think we're gonna see him that day? I know it's his coach's birthday that day too, so I don't know. Do you buy it? Like,
Um, with McGregor, it's hard to tell for sure,
yeah.
especially over the last 3 years, where he's only fought once. It's very hard for him to, uh, to I guess get his way back up in there. Well, I mean, I get, what, he definitely he makes it seem like he's going to come back, and he makes it seem like he's got these fights lined up, and you see from other opponents and stuff like that, they make posts about it, or they respond to him on Twitter. I've seen a lot from Dustin Poirier, I've seen a lot from Justin Gaethje, I've seen a lot from Cowboy Cerrone. So I don't know, man. I really don't know, because obviously, based on these posts, there's nothing set in stone. So it's McGregor just kind of talking like, yeah, I'm gonna fight there, but we'll see, because the opponent is definitely still up in the air.
Yeah.
So until it's set in stone, I think I gotta say, I don't know. I truly don't know, man.
I mean, I hope from a fan point he does come back, but like when you have that much money and yeah, you're right. I need to see something like some concrete evidence. Like they asked him who's the opponent, like because they said he had the date set up and everything, and he wouldn't say anything. He's like, ask
Hmm.
the UFC. I need to see something. I need to see an opponent. I need to see a date before I can, believe this. We're still 2 months out. There's still time,
Hmm.
and he says he has a plan. He says he's gonna fight Cerrone or Gaethje. Then he's gonna fight the winner of Diaz Masvidal, and then he's gonna fight the winner of Khabib and Tony. So he has his plan made up for 2020. Whether he follows through with it, I don't know. If he stays out of trouble, if he focuses on fighting, that's probably the biggest hurdle I'd say. I mean, the whole thing about like Khabib when he fought him is, he just came back from boxing. He wasn't really like I think he just did it just to do it, just to
Hmm.
fight him. Um, he lost, but I'd be interested to see him fighting anyone motivated this time around. So hopefully we see him in 2020. I don't know when. I'm sure we're going to hear about it between the winner of Masvidal Diaz. I'm sure we're going to hear something from Dana after the fight.
Hmm.
We'll see what happens. I just hope he does come back, and if he doesn't, then well, it is what it is. He had a good run, and he made a good living.
Hmm. Yeah, it's kind of at that point in his career, where it's like he doesn't really need to fight. He has nothing really left to prove,
Mm-hmm.
unless he wants to prove to his like multitude of haters that like he can still you know win that belt, which I'm sure every fighter wants to do. But he has nothing left to prove. He's made his money.
Yeah,
He's been probably the most influential athlete in the sport. So
yeah.
if you're right, if he doesn't end up coming through with it, then it is what it is. But I'm feeling confident that he will fight in 2020, because he even said that he really wanted to fight by the end of this year. But he really wanted that Khabib fight. He wanted it in Moscow, and obviously none of that ever came to fruition because Khabib had to fight Poirier. Then Khabib, is forced to fight Ferguson because there literally is no other opponent. Like it has to be Tony.
Yeah, it has to be Tony, and then like we can go from there. But like, yeah, I'd like to see Conor before he faces KV again, if he does. I'd like to see him on like, I'd like to see a couple fights from him, just to like get the rust off because there was definitely rust
Yeah,
in his last performance. Like it was
sure.
noticeable. Um, I don't know if the whole outcome will be different this time around. Like I don't know. We'd have to see how he looks. We'd have to see who he faces, but. Uh, yeah, it's definitely a different mindset when you've already got what you got. Like he's got the money, he's got the two titles. It's just a matter if he wants to do it again. And I'd hate for him to come back and like to lose in a devastating way and then realize like I don't want to do this anymore.
Hmm.
That's what I don't want from him. But like we'll see what happens. Like he's only 31 or 32, something like that. He's still young.
Yeah.
Uh, but I don't want to keep talking about this when like it's all just hype. Like I need Dana or I need
Yeah.
something to make it
Yeah.
official.
Until we have something set in stone, yeah,
Yeah,
it really is just talk.
yeah.
So, um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But who would you like to see as the opponent?
Like the opponent, would you say the opponent who he, like anyone who he wants to face, or like the
So,
opponent
like,
that gets him off
sorry,
on the
what
right
would be
foot?
like your dream matchup, like
Right
right now?
now, I'd say I'd say Gaethje. I feel like with Cerrone, like it's a good fight. It's a good fight for him to win and like get his confidence back. But like if you want someone to really shake off the rust, it's probably Gaethje, and he can do it pretty quickly.
Yeah, Gaethje will punch the rust right off you.
Yeah. But like if Connor's motivated, I feel like he can. That's a winnable fight from him. And then if he wins that fight, proves a lot of people wrong. He shoots right back up the rankings, and you know, there you go. Actually, you know what? Like I'd say in that division, Gaethje. But like if I had a dream fight, I'd say DS3.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's another thing we didn't even mention is what if
yeah.
Nate wins this fight and then calls him out again? Not not out of the question.
I mean, like we talked about this after the Pettis fight too. Like after Diaz win, it's probably the best time to do it because like Connor's already big, and like if Diaz wins, it makes it even bigger.
Hmm.
Um, but that fight's always there. Everyone says that fight's always there. It'll happen, I believe. But Connor has his plan set out. He wants to fight Gaethje or Cerrone, then Diaz, then Khabib. So whether he mixes up the plan, whether he doesn't do the plan at all, I don't know. But I'd say DS3, but in that division, I'd say Gaethje as well. What about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. I think him versus Gaethje would be fantastic, but I don't think he would win. With Nate, it's obviously a toss up. People argue that Nate won the second fight, but I had it for Connor. So they're two very close opponents. But with Gaethje, I feel like Gaethje, his style,
Yeah,
I think he would just hound McGregor. That's a tough one to come back to after over a year out of the game.
that's true.
So
That's true. Like,
I think my most likely opponent is Cowboy.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, my dream matchup is Gaethje. Even though Cerrone is also a dream matchup too, but not quite as big of a dream for me.
yeah, I'd say like what you said, dream matchup, Gaethje. But like, if you want to build him back up, probably Cerrone, um, or like I don't know, like who else is there?
I don't even know Poirier. I guess.
Was he gonna fight Frankie? I don't want to see him fight
Frank.
Frankie.
Yeah, no, I saw that. I was like, what a random opponent like for him to go up against.
I'd say Poirier, but he's out for a bit too, so I don't know about that. Like, yeah, I'd say Cerrone would be like the best fight from to like boot him to build him back up, but yeah, he doesn't need that. Just put him against Gaethje and see how he does. If he does well, he moves on. If he doesn't, well, then he didn't even want to be there anyways. Whatever, it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So
Jack, what
yeah,
were you gonna say?
we'll see. Wait, sorry, what?
Were you gonna say something?
No, I was just gonna say like, yeah, we'll see what happens. See if he sticks to the plan, what Dana has in mind. If he ever even signs the contract, because it seems like he kind of says things and then avoids the contract.
Yeah,
So Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
see by January.
I'm sure we'll hear him on Saturday. He might tweet a couple things. He might show up. Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows? He
Hmm.
might come back from Moscow and just show up one day randomly at MSG. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up? And
No, I think that's it. Probably want to end off on that. Hitting 45 minutes right now.
okay, that's probably good. It's probably best if we end off at McGregor each time, because like people wanna they'll tune in and actually listen to us so they can
Yeah,
hear it.
I'm gonna put him in the title for sure, so we can
Yeah, you
listen.
gotta put that in the title for sure. But yeah, like that was a good first MMA show. We'll definitely. I don't know if you want to do this like every week, do like a recap or something.
Yeah, we probably don't have to do it every week, but at least I would want to do it before and after the bigger cards.
That's true. All right, we'll do that then. We'll stick to that. I'm looking forward to this card. I'm looking forward to what happens after this card, and it'll be a nice 2020 in the UFC for sure.